Welcome to our countdown of the 10 freakiest experiments in history that will give you chills. These studies, while contributing to science, often raise serious ethical questions about the treatment of subjects. In the pursuit of knowledge, the lines of morality have sometimes been blurred, leading to experiments that shock and disturb. From psychological studies that pushed human endurance to bizarre animal experiments and clandestine government projects, the history of science is marked by both brilliance and unsettling darkness. Join us as we delve into these controversial experiments, examining their methods, findings, and the ethical dilemmas they pose. In the summer of 1971, at Stanford University, a group of young men embarked on a journey into the heart of human nature. They volunteered for a simple experiment to simulate prison life for 2 weeks. Little did they know they were stepping into a psychological pressure cooker. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo sought to understand conformity to roles of guard and prisoner. The volunteers were randomly assigned their roles. Guards were given uniforms and instructions to maintain order. The prisoners were arrested at their homes and brought to the mock prison. The experiment took a dark turn, with guards asserting dominance and prisoners in distress. Within 6 days, the experiment was shut down, a chilling reminder of the lure of power. In 1939, in Davenport, Iowa, a disturbing experiment unfolded targeting orphaned children. This study, later dubbed the Monster Study, left lasting emotional scars on its young subjects. At the helm was Wendell Johnson, a speech pathologist from the University of Iowa. Johnson theorized that stuttering was a learned behavior, exacerbated by negative reactions. To test his hypothesis, he recruited 22 orphaned children, some with no prior speech impediments. The children were divided into 2 groups. One received positive speech therapy, the other relentless criticism. The results were devastating, with many children developing lifelong speech anxieties and psychological scars. The Monster Study remains a dark stain on the history of speech therapy. It serves as a stark reminder of the ethical boundaries that must be drawn when conducting research, especially on vulnerable populations. In the 1950s, psychologist Harry Harlow's experiments revealed the importance of love and attachment. Harlow's subjects were infant rhesus monkeys, known for their strong maternal bonds. He separated newborn monkeys from their mothers. The infants had 2 surrogate mothers, one wire with milk, one cloth without. The monkeys clung to the cloth mothers for comfort. This showed the importance of emotional comfort in development. Harlow also subjected monkeys to social isolation, causing distress. His work revealed the impact of early deprivation on development. It shaped our understanding of attachment theory and early nurturing. Human head transplants, a surgical nightmare. The idea of transplanting a human head onto another body has long been a macabre fascination. In the 1950s, Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikhov conducted experiments grafting the heads of dogs onto other dogs, creating grotesque 2-headed creatures. These creations typically survived for only a few days. Fast forward to the 21st century, and Italian neurosurgeon Sergio Canavero claimed to have performed a head transplant on a human cadaver in 2017. He argued this was a step towards performing the procedure on a living person. The ethical implications are staggering, with questions about identity and consciousness. What happens to the essence of a person when their head is grafted onto another's body? These questions remain largely unanswered, shrouded in ethical uncertainty. The Milgram Experiment, the shocking truth of obedience. In 1961, Stanley Milgram's experiment at Yale sought to understand obedience. Participants were told they were in a study on learning and memory. They were instructed to administer electric shocks for wrong answers. The shocks were fake. The focus was on obedience. As shocks increased, participants showed stress but continued. Milgram's findings revealed authority's power over moral judgment. It raised profound questions about human nature and cruelty. The rat brain robo-control experiment. remote control over life. In the realm of brain-computer interfaces, the line between science fiction and reality often blurs. One such experiment involves the remote control of rats, transforming them into living drones. Scientists have implanted tiny electrodes into the brains of rats, allowing them to control the animal's movements. By stimulating specific brain regions, researchers can steer these robo-rats with remarkable precision. The potential applications are vast, from search and rescue missions to sniffing out explosives. However, this technology raises profound ethical concerns. The idea of controlling another living creature evokes unease. What are the ethical implications of transforming living beings into remote-controlled machines? The Lazarus experiment, reviving dead brains, blurring the lines of life and death. In 2019, researchers at Yale University restored partial brain activity in pigs that had been dead for several hours. Using a system dubbed BrainX, they circulated a solution through the pigs' brains, providing oxygen and nutrients. The BrainX system revived cellular activity, but the pigs did not regain consciousness. The Lazarus experiment raises profound ethical and philosophical questions. If we can restore brain activity in the deceased, what does this mean for our definition of death? Does it blur the lines between life and death, opening the door to potential abuses? These questions are sure to fuel debate as we continue to push the boundaries of what is scientifically possible. The elephant LSD experiment, a dose of madness. In 1962, at the Lincoln Park Zoo in Oklahoma City, researchers embarked on a misguided quest to understand the effects of LSD on elephants. Tuskegee, a beloved bull elephant, became the unwitting subject of this ill-conceived experiment. Researchers injected him with a massive dose of LSD, roughly 3,000 times the typical human dose. Within minutes, Tuskegee collapsed and went into convulsions, dying within an hour. The experiment faced widespread condemnation for its callous disregard for animal welfare. The Tuskegee incident remains a dark stain on the history of animal research. It serves as a stark example of how the pursuit of scientific knowledge can be twisted into acts of cruelty. Tuskegee's death prompted a re-evaluation of animal research practices and a greater emphasis on animal welfare. Operation Midnight Climax, the CIA's secret LSD experiments. During the Cold War, the CIA embarked on a series of clandestine experiments using unsuspecting citizens as guinea pigs. Operation Midnight Climax explored the potential of LSD for use in espionage and psychological warfare. The CIA established safe houses in San Francisco and New York City, transforming them into laboratories for their experiments. Subjects were often unwitting participants, lured into these safe houses under false pretenses. Prostitutes, working on the CIA's payroll, would slip LSD into their drinks while agents observed their behavior. The experiments were conducted without the subject's knowledge or consent. Operation Midnight Climax eventually came to light in the 1970s, sparking public outrage and congressional investigations. The program was ultimately shut down, leaving behind a legacy of distrust and a chilling reminder of the dark side of the Cold War. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study, a betrayal of trust. In 1932, the Public Health Service began a study in Macon County, Alabama, to observe untreated syphilis in African American men. 600 impoverished sharecroppers were promised free medical care but were not informed of their true diagnosis. They were denied proper treatment even after penicillin became available. The consequences were devastating, affecting their families as well. Exposed in 1972, the study led to reforms in medical research ethics. It serves as a reminder of the importance of informed consent and ethical conduct. The price of knowledge, ethics, and the future of science. Thanks for watching. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content. While science can lead to incredible discoveries, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications of our actions. The experiments we've explored serve as stark reminders of the potential for human fallibility and the dangers of unchecked ambition. They underscore the need for greater transparency, accountability, and a steadfast commitment to ethical principles in all scientific endeavors. As we stand on the cusp of new scientific breakthroughs, let us remember the lessons of the past. Ensuring that the pursuit of knowledge is always guided by a strong moral compass is essential. Join us next time as we continue to explore the fascinating and often unsettling world of scientific discovery.